here, chapter 6.1. So when you see this at the top, that's chapter 6, section 1. What is a constellation? So we're starting off here back where we were with Mrs. Harper, and we're moving forward. So basically after we came back from winter break. Constellation is a pattern or grouping of stars that people imagine to represent a figure or object. And some of those can be seen easily, some of them a little bit tougher. What makes up the solar system? Primarily our solar system. And we have various objects: planets, dwarf planets, stars, asteroids, comets, moons. Covers most of the major ones. Of course, there are some others, but as far as this test goes, these are the major ones that you'll be responsible for knowing. Okay, chapter 6, section 2. First question, this should go right down with your study guide here. How does Earth's year relate to its motion in space? And of course, one revolution, one orbit, one trip around for Earth around the sun is what creates 1 year. 365 days in 1/4, which of course creates our leap year, which is what we have this year. What does Earth's rotation cause? Now, this again is one of those that we tend to get confused between each other. Revolution, one revolution is going to create a year. Rotation is going to cause night and day. When we rotate, we spin. So we turn from facing the sun, daytime, to facing away from the sun, which is nighttime, of course. And this is 24 hours for Earth to do one full rotation. How does Earth get seasons? Earth is tilted on its axis. Think of the Bill Nye video where the little girl at the end kept repeating over and over, tilted, as it revolves around the sun. Chapter 6.3. What is the difference between weight and mass? Mass is constant. No matter where you're at in our solar system, it's always going to be the same. And basically because it's a property of an object. We talked about properties previously in this year. Weight depends on the amount of gravity. So when you're going from place to place, your weight, we looked at that. We've got some websites that you can look for. You can type into Google, what is my weight on, and put a planet, and it'll take you to some of those sites. Why do things weigh different on different planets or moons? We kind of talked about this just a couple of minutes ago. The force of gravity is different, so you're going to weigh differently because the force of gravity is different. Or you could even talk about how the mass of the planet is different. Either of those, they go together, and you could talk about the first part about gravity or the second part about mass and get that question correct. What factors affect gravity between two objects? There's two things: the distance between them and their masses. So it depends upon the mass of the object and how far apart they are. So there are lots of stars in the solar system. Do they all affect us? No, not necessarily. Obviously, distance is going to be the primary cause there. What are the factors that keep Earth in motion around the stars? Again, there's two of them. Inertia. Inertia is the reason the Kleenex box goes flying through your car. It's the reason why you need to wear a seatbelt. All objects want to keep going in a straight line, and you need to have some sort of force stop them from doing that or cause them to move, because inertia is also the resistance to movement. It's both ways. And of course, gravity. Gravity is going to be that pull towards the object. Inertia is going to be that resistance to that pull. It wants to keep moving in a straight line. Those two, in fact, work off of each other, and you end up with an orbit, an ellipse, not perfect circle, but an ellipse. Okay, section 4, what causes the moon phases? Why do we see certain phases from Earth? All of this depends on how much of the lit side of the moon is facing Earth. Once again, half of the moon is always lit. 50%, same thing with Earth. So it depends on how much of the lit side is turned towards us is what depends on what phase we see. Right now we are heading towards a new moon, and we have a crescent, waning crescent in the morning. During what phase does a solar eclipse and lunar eclipse occur? Solar eclipse, again, when you look at these words, you need to pay attention to the first word to see what's blocked. So in a solar eclipse, solar meaning sun, that's what's blocked. That's going to happen on a new moon. Lunar eclipse, what's being blocked? Light going to the moon. So that's going to happen at a full moon. And again, why does this not always happen? Thought you guys did a nice job when we went through this in class and described the fact that the moon's orbit is tilted. Okay, section 5. Section 5 here, what causes tides? That's going to be the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. Remember, when they are all lined up, we get our larger tides. And when they are at right angles, not quite as large. And it's the pull of those together in order to do this. Section 6 here, chapter 6.6. I'm going to first start with craters. A couple definitions for you. These are large, round pits caused by the impact of a meteorite. If you remember back to crash course in the lab, we took a look at those. Dropped the marble, golf ball, ping pong ball. Mariah, you looked at these with Mr. Cora. Dark flat areas on the moon's surface formed from huge ancient lava flows. Okay, gonna go ahead, stop here, and we will start with the next part.